Hello and welcome on board this flight from the Isle of Islay to Sumburgh, departing in 20 minutes. Flight time is 1 hour 36 minutes and I've already walked around the aircraft for the pre-flight inspection. Everything looks okay despite the aircraft being left for 6 months. I would like to give a special welcome to Shane, aka Ozflight Simmer, who has bravely decided to join us on this special tour. Please check out his awesome channel in the links below. So without further ado, it's time to step inside the cockpit and see what is greeting us. First things first, and I think we need to open some windows as it's a bit whiffy in here, so let's do that first. Hopefully we get some fresh air in here. What we need then to do is to get some external power so we can start powering some things up. Okay, and we're now the master switch for the battery and the two generators. So that's fine. And now we need to power up the avionics. Also the taxi light, nav, beacon, strobe. Don't think we need the tail light today. Won't need any lights either. And as the passengers are getting on board at the moment, we will give them a few minutes to get themselves set. Right, what we also need to do is turn on the FMC, power up and accept, and so the flight distance is 297 nautical miles. It says 4,000 feet there, but not sure how to get the autopilot to use that reading rather than this one. So if anyone does know, I'd be really grateful if you could tell me. We also need to pressurize the cabin, because otherwise we'll have 20 comatose passengers on the flight. This is the first time I've actually done a live commentary, so there will be some howlers and muck-ups, but I'm going to keep it all in. It's all part of the fun. What we need to do is now turn on the radio and tune in the radio to request the clearance.
Skyways 1212 is type IFR to Sumburgh, ready to copy. Skyways 1212 is cleared to Sumburgh Airport as filed. Climb and maintain altitude 7,000. Departure frequency is 119.875. Squawk 7322. Clearance void 30 minutes from now.
Okay, so we just need to read that back.
Skyways 1212 cleared at Sumburgh Airport as filed. Climb and maintain altitude 7,000. Departure is 119.
And what we need to do, as for pre-flight checks, make sure all these lights are off. I think that's the best thing that I will do. Pretty quick. Don't want to spend wasting time on the ground, do we? Okay, so we now need to just tune into the traffic, and then when we are clear of the runway, we will announce that we are clear of the runway. So now to see if we can get some power, so we need to turn off the external power. And auto feather is off, so all of these lights are off. We need to move the fuel cutout and the feather slightly, and tiny bit of throttle. And hopefully now we are going to close the main door, because I do believe the passengers are all on board now. They're very quiet, so close the door and also tell them to buckle up. We are now going to start left engine first. Now, did I put the parking brake on? We'll soon find out. We shoot forward. I haven't done it. Oh, looks like I did. Well, that's a good start. So that's engine 1. Wait for it to settle down and then we'll start engine 2. Okay, starting engine 2. We'll turn that off, turn the ignition off. Buses can go off. And close these windows now, we have some fresh air in the cockpit. 1 and 2. Again, this will settle down, which it now has, so we can now turn these off. So all these lights are off and all these lights are off, so I think we are literally ready to go. What we need to do first of all is just do a control check. So left, right, up, down, and also rudder pedal, left, right. That's good. It's been a while since I've been flying, so this is going to be interesting. I hope these passengers know what they're in for. So what we'll do, we'll set the autopilot when we get moving. So parking brake off, and just a little bit of throttle, and hopefully we can get this bird moving. Go. Now my rudder skills are going to leave a lot to be desired, because this plane has been left for a long time and I am going to be rusty, but the weather looks pretty good, so hopefully it's going to be a smooth flight and we will get there in one piece. What I need to do now, I'm going to do the flaps. So there go the flaps. And we are just going to follow this down to the wrong way. Also I need to set the pressure, which is now done. When I first started flying this plane, it was a case of me and flying it manually all the way, because I didn't know how to use the autopilot. I now worked out how to roughly use the autopilot and to use an ILS approach. But as I said, the only thing I haven't worked out is the height. I think it might be something to do with the altitude select button rather than me just selecting altitude. But as I've got passengers on board, I don't think it's really fair for me to try to test out my theory. So this looks quite narrow, so hopefully we're going to go on the grass, I know that. Oh, that's not too shabby. The plane's slowing down now. Friction problems, there we go. Not too fast. Here we go, that's fine. So this taxiway is going to be quite away. Music in the background will be soothing the passengers. I know what they're waiting for. They'll be waiting for the duty free drinks, but they're going to have to wait for 10,000 feet before they can have any. They spent 6 months on the island drinking, so a few more minutes without having a drink is not going to hurt them. So the plan for today, if all goes well, will be show you the takeoff and the initial climb, and then we'll cut back when we get to the cruise, and there's going to be a new feature which I'll talk to you about more once we're up in the air, that I hope to do with these videos, and that will be depending on you guys really. And then of course we will have the approach. Initially this flight was due to depart at 8:30 last night, but one of the cabin crew was ill, so we've had to wait, but she assures me that she's feeling better.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much for your attention, and now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the takeoff. The captain has made tower communications available, so if you'd like to monitor the air traffic system, you'll find that on channel 9 and your headsets in the seat pocket in front of you. We'll give you a little more information about our service plan for our flight this evening as soon as we're in the air. Thank you, and
So
again,
while
welcome
we're on
aboard.
here, you can do that now. So we're going to set the altitude, and I think it was 13,000, but so we set that now. Ooh, trying to do two things at once, not always a good thing. 13,000. Okay, so we'll just double check to see what that's going to give me. Look at that, 7,000. So there we go, that's the first howler. There'll be no prizes for guessing how many there's going to be in this flight, but as long as the passengers don't know, then it's okay. So 7,000 is set on the autopilot. A bit more speed there, and we want to set the altitude increase to about 1200. I think that's the yaw dampener, and it looks like we are going to be departing, I think, to the east. Wow, this is the longest taxiway ever for such a small airport. Anyone think we were Amsterdam? So I'm going to give it a bit more speed. Right, one thing I forgot to do, and that's set the TCAS. So that's on. As I say, I'm not using a checklist, as you can probably tell. But these flights are all about having fun. They definitely are not tutorial quality. So a quick taste of the brakes. Yep, the toe brakes are working, that's good. So, whoa, slow down, slow down, slow down. Here we go. So, I think we are nearly here. So I'm going to stop here for a second. Parking brakes on. Phew, got this far. So now what we need to do is turn on the landing lights, turn off the taxi lights. Everything else looks fine. We need to start the clock, which technically I suppose I should have done when I started my taxi. Temperature outside is 16 degrees, not too shabby, and we should have enough fuel. So we need to increase the fuel flow and the feather to full, and I think we are ready to go. So bit of throttle round, and then we'll move it around and get going again. Here we go. Of course I have to take the brake off. Oh, here we go, here we go. So what do you reckon? Rolling start or standing start? How about rolling start? Yep, I think we will. So let's go. Go, go, go. So increase the throttle and see what the crosswinds are like. Try and see if I can keep it on the runway, and also it would be great if I could keep it in a straight line. There she goes, over to the right. 100 knots. I think 120 we're going to pull up. Here we go. Positive rate. Gear up. Okay, we now need to start turning to the left. Flying at quite a rate of knot, so we'll slow it down a little bit. And then as we move over to the left now. Okay, 1,000 feet. I think we're going to put flappers up. Flappers up. So far, so good, I think. We're coming around. One thing I've forgotten to do, and that this needs to be set to GPS, which we've done. Still climbing. Oh, we need to tell that we've cleared the runway, so contact Scottish Centre now.
Skyways 1212 is climbing through 1,800 for altitude 7,000. Skyways 1212, Scottish controls roger, altimeter 3003. Skyways 1212, turn right heading 040, resume on navigation, climb and maintained altitude 7,000.
Oh, blown about now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to engage the autopilot before this gets too jumpy. Autopilot engaged, and I'm going to engage nav mode. Acknowledge the instruction.
Right heading 040. Resume on navigation. Climb altitude 7,000. Skyways 1212.
There we go. It's goodbye to the Isle of Islay on a slightly misty day. So need to turn the auto feather off. We are being blown about a little bit, which is not unusual for this aircraft, as it does like the wind. So let's have a look out of this window. It's looking good. 4,300 feet. It's definitely a misty day. No warning lights so far, so that's good. We will be serving a proper meal for the passengers, but I won't be doing that until we get to cruising altitude, and also of course they can't move about, not there's much room to move about in this plane until we get to 10,000 feet. And it's a pretty nice day looking out, all in all. To be honest, for a first flight, I'd much rather fly in the daytime than the night time anyway. So now just passing 6,000 feet. And the autopilot's telling me there's 1,000 feet to go. So we'll probably get instruction from ATC to increase altitude as we get to about 6,700 feet. So I'm expecting them to come on the radio and tell me, probably just as we get to 7,000, there we go, 14,000 feet. So that will probably be our cruising altitude.
Maintain altitude 14,000.
So
Skyways 1212.
4,000, and we need to increase that as well. So now climbing. Speed is looking good. So far so good. 6.5 minutes into the flight. So it should take about an hour and 36 minutes, but I'm not going to show the whole flight. Not on this one. Wispy clouds around, but nothing major. And we'll have a look on here. There are a couple of aircraft over there, but they're not going to be any problem whatsoever. So the time is 12:54. Yeah, we're climbing nicely now. Little bit of turbulence but not much considering what I normally have when I fly this plane. So the plan for this series is, hopefully, if all the passengers can stand it, is that we will be flying around the UK on an 18-leg tour, starting in Sumburgh. So this is really a pre-tour flight, because that's where I'm going to start. We'll be mirroring the Fly UK tour, which I will put a link for their website in the notes below. So we're now approaching 10,000 feet. So what we need to do is turn off the landing lights, and if the passengers are brave enough, they can get out and have a wander around. So let's do that now. So landing lights off and seatbelts off. So they can now use their electronic devices if they can get them out of their luggage. Okay, what I will do is when we get to the cruise altitude, I will come back with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the main cabin, we will be starting with our meal service very shortly. We do have two selections of entrees tonight. We have a penne pasta with a cheese and tomato sauce. The other selection is chicken with vegetables and a rice stuffing. And we'll be following our meal carts with a beverage cart. And we do ask that if you're eating, as a courtesy to those behind you, if you could bring your seat back up just to let those behind you a little more room to enjoy their dinner. Thank you.
While they're eating their lunch, I will talk to you about hopefully what will become a regular feature for these videos. So this part is going to be called Captain Tapper's Fly Corner. So this will be the section of the video where I will talk about comments from the previous flight. Hopefully there will be some comments. Now, as this is the first one, and I obviously don't have any comments, I thought I would just ask you guys about what you would like to see regarding footage from further flights. Would you just like to see the highlights, i.e. just the taxi takeoff and then cruisy bit, landing? Or, of course, there will be low lights as well, but that's all part of the fun. Or would you actually like to see the whole flight? Now, bearing in mind the average flight time for these flights will be about an hour, so in theory I could leave it all in. This flight is longer than the rest of the flights. So I would be interested to hear what you guys think regarding the length of the videos, and also if you do have any comments on how I can improve them, I would love to hear from you. I thought I would tell you a bit about how I'm actually capturing this footage for this video, as it's different from how I've done all the others. In the past I've used Fraps, which whilst it does a pretty good job, it hurts frame rates, and especially where we're going to be going. I mean, one of the airports we'll be landing at is London City Airport.
Jersey 134, Scottish Control, roger, altimeter 3009.
That's okay, that's not for me, haven't got to worry about that. Also, would you like me to do the flights using the ATC, which is what I'm sort of doing with this one, or I thought maybe I could use the ATC just for takeoff and landing, and then not worry about the ATC. So I would be interested to hear what you think regarding that. So this footage is being captured by an external capture device known as an Elgato game catcher. So what basically is a little box that you plug into a USB of your PC and it captures the video. but I'm using a second PC, my normal daily PC, to capture the video and the sound at the same time. So I'm not using my flight PC to capture the video. So what that hopefully means is that frame rates are a bit better, and I then use Nero 2016 to edit the video.
Scottish Control Jersey 6917 is at altitude.
So this is, as I said, this is the first time.
17,000. Jersey 6917.
Not for me. This is the first time that I've done live commentary, because normally I do it on afterwards, which in some ways is harder because you have to get to match up with what you're doing, but in other ways it's easier because there's no way I could talk for an hour and a half and not make it interesting anyway. So yeah, if you could let me know what you think, that would be brilliant. So while the passengers are having their lunch, it's time for me to have a cuppa. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that. So, how far have we got to go? Let's have a look. I think it's quite a way. It says 191 nautical miles, so we've done about a third of the way through. And the time is 27 minutes, so yeah, we're looking about an hour and a half's flight in total. So what add-ons am I using? Well, you probably will laugh. I'm using default clouds. I know I will get some. I have got soft clouds and I'm thinking about installing them. I am using the new Active Sky 16, which does have the new effects when you fly through clouds, and maybe we might get to see that today, as there are a few clouds about. Obviously the aircraft is the Carendado Beechcraft B1900D, which I use as my main aircraft for flying my Fly UK virtual flights. The scenery down below, that is Orbix FTX Scotland, but also we'll be using Wales and England as well. They may use global for the London area, as I don't know if it's this plane, but with this plane and when you're flying in London, frame rates do take a bit of a dive, but we'll see how it goes anyway. Obviously FTX England is better, but it uses more frame rates as well. Using FSX, the old Boxed Edition on my flight PC. I do have P3D and am thinking of upgrading version 3.1 at the moment, and I'm thinking about upgrading to version 3.3, but I'm not sure if this aircraft works in version 3. So if anybody knows and they can let me know, that would be great. Also, I have a plea as well for other YouTubers, maybe Shane might know this, is how do you record your audio at the same time as the flight? I am doing it at the same time, but using Audacity to record it, and then we'll mix it together. I have heard about shadow play, and maybe you can do both with shadow play, but I've never used it, because ideally I would like to do it all within one program rather than doing the two and then mixing it afterwards. When I use Fraps, I didn't record the audio, I just recorded the in-flight audio and then did it completely separately afterwards. But I did find that quite difficult, so I really would appreciate if anyone can answer that question for me. So there's two things would be great to learn. One is how to get the autopilot to read the FMC regarding altitude. So as I said, that might be altitude select, but I'm not sure. And two, is there a better way of recording the audio for when I'm doing the flights? I did use the Elgato software and found you can record it through that, but it echoes and it's picking up the sound of the sim even though I've got the volume down really low. So for now I think this is the best way of me doing it. Well, we're flying amongst all these clouds, and are we going to fly through any? I don't think we are, which is typical. So we're half an hour into the flight now. I think we will probably be landing on ILS runway 27. I'm not 100% sure. What we will do is just check the... That's okay. Not for me. Is check the weather. So, active sky, weather request. Destination station weather. So, we have got wind variable at 4 knots. Direction from 60 to 120, that's quite a big deviation. Visibility 10 plus, I think that's pretty good then. Few clouds at 1300 feet, temperature at 16 and no rain. and this was a 2020. Of course that may change because we're over an hour away, but we'll check it when we get closer. So that's the weather forecast at the moment. So I think get rid of the window by doing that. It's good. So far it's been a pretty uneventful flight. A few more clouds down here. It looks like an airport down there. Not sure which one that is. I don't know if I can tell by looking on here. We're passing EGPE on the right, and I think it's just down there through the clouds. It's a shame it's a cloudy day because the scenery is really pretty. It's nice. Yep, and there's something down there as well. Is it oil rigs down there by the looks of it as well? There's something in there. Yeah, looks like it. All these clouds are. We're going to fly through. There you go. There you see it. That's the new effect. Which is pretty cool. I was very impressed with Active Sky Next. It was my first weather engine, and when this one came out I thought, well, do I upgrade to it? But when you see effects like that, and even this is saying this is with default clouds, and I think performance is supposed to be better. I know they've just released another hot fix, which I found this morning as I was just about to do this flight, so I've installed that as well. So if we can have weather effects like that and increase performance, then that's brilliant. So what I'm going to do now, rather than just me prattle on for the next probably hour or so, I would say, let's have just another quick look at the distance. It's actually coming down pretty quick, 156 nautical miles. What I will do, unless anything major happens on this flight, which I hope that it doesn't, or if I see something that looks really amazing out of the window, I'll come back to you. So what we'll do, we'll have another bit of music, and then I'll bring it back when it's time for the approach. Traffic alert.
Traffic. Traffic.
Well, at least we know that bit's
Traffic.
working.
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
Oh well.
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
It's that one there. It's a Flyby. And it's going to EGPA. Well, that was a bit of excitement. It could have been that close because ATC didn't warn me about impending traffic. Oh well. Slowly more cloud cover as we are approaching Sumburgh. Just look at the GPS. Yeah, we're leaving main Scotland now, and going back out over the sea. So maybe the clouds will disappear. It's becoming a little bit more bumpy, but passengers aren't complaining. They've had their lunch, they're happy. I think for default clouds it looks pretty good. Just take a look at the right side of the window. Yeah, I've got the visibility set to 73 miles. Let's look back on here. That plane is turning. But it's definitely behind us now. It's very quiet. The traffic is being provided by Ultimate Traffic 2. So let's check the distance now. We are under 100 miles, so 95 miles to go. This is page 1 of 2. Where is the next page? Oh, here. Okay. So we departed EGPI and we will arrive at EGPB. Time? That can't. 21 minutes? That can't be right. Local time. This is worrying. It says fuel reserve 0, minimum fuel 0. But I know for a fact that I have put enough fuel in, so I'm not sure why that is showing as that. That says plus 20. That's obviously to the next waypoint then. That's not the total time. Because I would say that's 50 minutes and we've got about 45 minutes left of the flight to go. So it's looking okay. We should be okay for fuel, which is good.
Control Jersey 6834. Is it 4,400? Descending 2,400. Jersey 6834. Scottish Control Roger. Altimeter 3006. Jersey 6834. Turn right heading 360. Turn right heading 360.
That might be that plane there.
6834.
They're both Flybys. One's going to EGPB and that is going to EGPI, I think. Yep, so it's looking good. Still no warnings on here, which is fine. There's one cup holder. Sana's taken my cuppa, empty of course. And as we are going out, clouds are clearing, and it looks like some sort of manufacturing based chemical works or oil refineries will be up in Scotland, won't they? So oil refinery down there. I have also bought some more scenery for this video series from Sim 720, as they do some really nice Scottish airports, so I have bought some of those. The airport we will be landing at is Sumburgh, and that is an Orbix airport as well, so that looks really nice. One of my favourite airports. I'm not really into flying the longer haul. The longest flight I've ever done was, I think it was 3 hours from Stansted to LHBP Bucharest. I flew that in the default 737 when I first got into flight sim. I do have the NGX, but I like smaller aircraft, and this one, I know it's light on systems, but I do like it. It's probably because I know how to fly it.
Jersey 6775, turn right heading 215, resume on navigation, flight level 200.
I also have the A2A Cessna 182, and from Relair I have the Lance Legacy version 1 Turbine Duke and the Duke version 2, which I really like. They are great aeroplanes, definitely recommend. So I suppose really I would be looking for something in between this and the NGX. Maybe something that held 50 to 60 passengers, but I'm not sure if there is anything that fulfills that criteria. So if you do know something that fulfills that, then drop me a comment in the below, because I would really like to hear from you. So we look at this now. We have another plane. That plane has definitely turned now. We have another one up on here. It's another Flyby by the looks of it. There's lots of Flybys. I've got the traffic set at 40%, which for up here is okay. I must admit I did a test flight the other day in a different plane. I left London City, and the ATC was constant. The poor air traffic controller must have been pulling their hair out. It was constant calls, and that was only set at 40%. So it makes you wonder what it would be like if you actually had it set at 100%. Something else I would like to do eventually is update my Ultimate Traffic 2 with new schedules. I'm just using the free one, and I do like the models. And I also would recommend something called Super Traffic Board as well, which you can install, and it will show you where each plane is going and destination, gate number, arrival, departing. Really cool bit of software. The trouble with flight sim is that there's too many nice things. I don't get as much time as I would like to fly because something called work gets in the way. So generally I will fly either at weekends or when I'm on holiday, like I am this week. Hopefully I would like to get these videos out once a week. That is what I'm aiming for. I know it's taken me over 6 months to get the next video out. Originally I was doing the tour of the UK, but then decided actually, seeing that Fly UK do a really good tour of the UK rather than just me doing the tour of Scotland. That's what I was meant to say. I was going to do a Scottish tour, and I did the first video, and that's where we landed at Islay. But I've now decided to expand it. Passengers paid me a load of money, and how can I say no? So it's soon going to be time to start thinking about descent. We're 56 minutes into the flight. I'm a bit worried about this plane. It's going to come right across. Our flight path is going to EGPD. Now it was 17419. I'm guessing, I don't know what that is. Altitude maybe? Whoa, there's 2 now. This could be interesting. So I'm not going to cut the video just yet. We'll keep a scan on the horizon for any planes. When I first started flight sim in ATC was always giving me traffic alert, but it doesn't seem to.
Lufthansa 453, you are 300 below your assigned altitude. Turn left heading 150, resume on navigation. Climb and maintain flight level 370. Turn left heading 150, resume on navigation.
It's going to EDDM, somewhere in Germany I think.
Lufthansa 453. Skyway is 1212. You are 60 miles southwest. Turn right heading 075.
So,
expect vectors.
here we
ILS,
go.
runway 27 approach.
So, acknowledge the approach.
Right heading 075. Expect vectors. ILS, runway 27 approach. Skyway is 1212.
So what we need to do then is change this now from GPS to VLOC. Now they will get shirty with me in a minute because I'm not doing it quick enough. So 060, is that what they said? Turn right heading 075. So we need to change this now.
Skyway is 1212. Please expedite your turn to heading
There we go.
075.
Yep, I'm on it. Heading. So we're turning now to 075.
Jersey 6775. Climb flight level.
They don't give you a
240.
chance.
Climb flight level 240.
Where are those planes?
6775.
That's the question. Does look nice up here. Even with my default clouds. So, we are turning and there is a plane. It must be above us because otherwise they would be screaming traffic alert, traffic alert. Can't see anything. We'll keep checking, but it all looks clear. This thing pops up every 5 minutes, airspace. So, that plane is underneath us or above us. But it's not on the same level.
Traffic.
Oh, there we go.
Traffic. Traffic. Traffic.
Where?
Traffic. 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 Traffic.
Can't see it.
Traffic.
Oh, to the
Traffic.
right.
Traffic. Traffic.
Let's have a look. Can we see it anywhere?
Traffic. Traffic.
Not yet. Oh, well that was quick. It's gone. So there was a glimpse of the plane, but we never saw it. So that's this one here. Go to EGPD. Another one. So little flybees are very busy around here anyway. So soon the ATC will be asking us to descend altitude. So we need to get the plane prepared for landing, I suppose. Otherwise, we'll run out of fuel. And that would not be a good idea.
Turn right heading 075. Descend altitude 900,000.
Okay, so we've just had instructions from ATC to descend to 9,000 now. So they're going to get a cob on in a minute if I don't do this quick. So 9,000 and down 1100 and turn right to 75. We're already on 75, silly ATC, but we're now descending.
1212, please expedite your descent to altitude 9,000.
And surprise, surprise. We're not a jet plane, we're just a little turboprop. So I need to reduce the throttle a little bit, because otherwise we're doing 200 knots already. So let's reduce throttle. So that's fine. Close that. Okay, so we will soon be approaching flight time 64 minutes, and that is our destination by the looks of it. Wow, it's come around quick. In fact, what I need to do now is tune in the frequency for our destination. So what we do, we move this down, and the airport information, and this very handily tells us that for runway 27 the frequency is 108.500. so this thing I can never get right on here. We need to swap. So is it that one? Nope, that one. So 108.500. This thing is fiddly. That's the 500. 108, and then put that in there and activate nav 1. So hopefully then when we're in range it will send out the Morse code for the locator for the airport. So I just want to double check. So that's 108.500, and that says 108.500, and runway 27 it says that it's 4,921 foot. Is it really? Sounds really long. The last time I flew in here I nearly got out wrong way. Elevation is 13 feet, so we need to keep that in mind. So I can put that back now to the map. So it's just over there. Right, so we're now at 11,000 feet. Speed is still 200, so I want to reduce the throttle a bit more. Not quite time to put out the flappers. Don't need to put lights on yet. We're coming up for 10,000. So soon, passengers, buckle up time. They've had their fun and games, and now comes the scary part.
Turn left heading 045, descend and maintain altitude 9,000.
045. Acknowledge.
Turn left heading 045, descend altitude 9,000. Skyway is 1212.
10,000 feet. So we now need to put the landing lights on and seatbelt signs back on. Few clouds around, and I'll tell you what we should do while we're at it, is let's have a look at the updated weather. Weather request and destination station weather. So wind has changed. It's 5 knots, 100. There's a few clouds at 1600. Altitude at 1019. Temperature 16 degrees. Close the window. Right, that tells me that we are now in range, which is good. We are level at 9,000 feet. Altimeter is set, so we can turn that off now. So far it's looking pretty good. 9,000 feet. There is another plane there. Now I wonder where that's going. Can I increase the range? No. EGPB C172. I'm guessing that is a Cessna. Right, so we need to descend altitude to 2,000 feet.
Altitude 2,000. 12.
So before they get on the radio and have a go at us yet again, let's get the altitude going down to 2,000 feet. I think there is a Cessna that is buzzing around here that may land. It's what it looks like. Can't quite see it. It's just out of range, but we'll keep an eye on that. So I think we now need to start. Is it too early to put out the flaps? That is the question. I guess really. I don't know what the pilot thing is to do. If I was flying a jet, I would. But as I'm not, airspeed is still just over 200, so we're definitely going to need to slow down at any pace. We're at 20 miles, so I don't know, a bit early. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. We're coming up with some nice cloud base. So this could be exciting. Passengers are buckled up. All the booze has been drunk on this flight. Surprise, surprise. I think when we get to 4,000 we'll put the flappers out. I'm hoping that is definitely a C-182, and I think it's at 4,000 feet, 4,200 feet. It'd be pretty cool if it does land, because I've never seen anything land at this airport.
Cessna Oscar Delta Victor.
So we are descending now.
Approach on 123.15.
There we go. That's the Cessna.
123.15. Cessna Oscar Delta Victor. Goodbye.
What's the vector, Victor? Go through the clouds again. That is such a cool effect. That really is nice. Doesn't it amaze you what they can do with flights with an old flight simulator over 10 years old? It amazes me. A bit bumpy. Well, that doesn't surprise me. Just passing 5,700 feet now. Whoa. Look at that. I reckon we're going to reduce the speed and then we're going to put flaps out. So I think this thing starts making funny noises when you get it below 80%. I think it thinks you're going to land. So now this could be a bit close. We're probably faster than him.
1212. Turn left heading 025.
To turn left 025. Acknowledge turn left 025.
025. Skyways 1212. Skyways 1212. Turn left heading 355.
The other one's to turn them all. 355. Turning left 355. Acknowledge.
Turn left heading 355. Skyways 1212.
We're under the clouds now, and I think it's time for flaps.
Skyways
So
1212.
flaps.
Contact Sumburgh approach on 123.15.
There we go. Flaps down. And now we're going to contact approach.
Sumburgh approach on 123.15. Skyways 1212. Thanks for the hello, bye.
Through more clouds.
Sumburgh approach. Skyways 1212 is at 3,800. Descending altitude 2,000. Skyways 1212. Sumburgh approach. Roger. Altimeter 3009er. Cessna Oscar Delta Victor. Turn left heading 175.
There's that Cessna.
Heading 175. Cessna Oscar Delta Victor.
Who's going to land first? Me or him? We have passengers on board. We might have a couple of passengers. It's not done on size. There he is. It's gonna be close. I think he's at 2,000 feet now. We're at 3,000, so we'll keep an eye out for the traffic. 1,000 feet to go. Our speed is 180. I'll just keep a scan on the horizon for this pilot that's decided to. Well, it's quite a nice day out there, really. I don't blame him. If I had a Cessna, I'd be doing that as well. I'm a bit worried. I might increase the range to 5. There's an increased range somewhere on this thing. There we go. So I've set it at 5 miles. So just in case he gets any ideas. Now, the question is he on approach already? In which case we will have to wait. Or not. It would be cool to see him land though. As long as he lands after us. So far, no failures at all. Flight time 74 minutes. We could be early. Could be. It depends. They might make us wait. Things are going to get a bit hectic for me.
Skyway 1212.
Oh, here we go. So, 17 miles away.
2000, cleared ILS, runway 27, approach, maintain altitude, 2000,
295.
on the localizer. Contact Sumburgh Tower on 118.25. Cessna Oscar Delta Victor. You are 16 miles east, turn right.
He's 16 miles.
And then maintain altitude.
Oh, it's close.
ILS, runway 27,
Right,
approach, maintain altitude, 2000.
See if we can answer first. We might get first dibs.
Sumburgh Tower on 118.25. Turn right heading 235, descend and maintain altitude 2000, cleared ILS, runway 27,
I think he could be first.
2000 until established, tower on 118.25,
Increase speed a bit.
Turn left heading 295.
Right. Let's contact the tower quick.
Skyways 1212.
We're 16 miles.
Miles east, inbound ILS, runway 27, approach. Skyways 1212, Sumburgh Tower, continued approach, runway 27, altimeter 3008.
Okay, acknowledge. Now.
Continued runway 27, Skyways 1212.
Whew. It's getting a bit scary now, and this plane is basically to our right, I think. Now, I want to increase speed a little bit. I'm not going that fast. There he is. You can see him on the warning. He's about 4 miles to...
Traffic.
There we go. There's the old lady again. Traffic. Yeah, we know.
Traffic.
I want to speed up. See if I can outrun him. Shouldn't be doing this really.
Traffic.
Thing is, I don't think you can turn the warning off.
Traffic.
Turn it off?
Traffic.
No, even it. Oh, well, you can. And then we can see him on there. Thing is. Right, we're doing 180 now. There he is. We are just going past him. We should hopefully be landing first. He may get the go around. Right, that is now moving.
Inbound ILS, runway 27, approach.
So, let's activate the approach.
Sumburgh Tower, continued runway 27, altimeter 3009.
I'm getting nervous now. This is the bit I don't like, the landing bit. Okay, so we need to line up. Speed is still a bit fast. Now, let's put this back on again. Where's that Cessna? He is right behind us. So, I don't know why this is it up. I want to keep the speed, and we can see the runway approach lights. We are now on the approach. I'm getting worried. Where's that plane? We are getting a distance between the plane and us.
Cleared to land, runway 27.
Okay, we've got landing clearance. So, acknowledge.
Cleared to land, runway 27. Skyways 1212.
And gear down. So let's start reducing the speed now, because we've got enough distance between. Hopefully we can get off the runway quick enough so that he can land. We don't need him to go around. That's not nice. So we're doing 180. Let's reduce the power more. Now this airport has a sloped runway, and the last time I landed on here I nearly killed everybody, so just don't tell the passengers that. They're buckled up, they're happy. So reducing speed 1200 feet. Please let us get down in one piece. Speed now 160. I'd like it to be 140 if I can. Now at the moment it looks like I'm not lined up, but according to that I am, so I'm going to trust it. Feet on the pedals. Soon time to disengage the autopilot. And I'm going to be a bit crafty and disengage it at the last minute. So we're now at 150. I want to increase the throttle a little bit. Not by much. 500 feet to go. So we're now 140. I'm going to disengage the autopilot and hold your breath, everybody. Bit. Here we go. Reduce throttle. Flare. And we're down. Why, that was a lot softer than the last time I tried it. Phew! That was not a bad landing. Flaps up. Right, what I'm going to try and do is get off this runway as soon as I can so the guy in the Cessna can land. And if we're really lucky, look at that. Have I done it again? Landed on the runway. Well, technically, I don't know if I was allowed to do that or not. Let's just wait here. Using the runway as a taxiway. I did that in the last video. Where's that Cessna gone? I would have thought he'd be on the approach. Okay, so we need to turn off the landing lights, put on the taxi light. I can hear seagulls in my ears. Or is he just buzzing around then? Oh, there he is. He's 1800 feet. We actually landed really quickly. So, let's have a gentle taxiway. Taxi. 82 minutes. We made pretty good time today. A little bit of a bonus for me. And the passengers will be happy. To be on the Isle of Sumburgh. Now, the question is, where shall I park? Now, I think all the Flybees are over there. Let's go over there, shall we?
Cessna Oscar Delta Victor, cleared to land, runway 27. Cleared to land.
There we go. So, Cessna's landing now. Got to get used to these rudder pedals again. There's a bump there. Right, let's just wait here a second. Just make sure the pre-flight, post-flight checks now. Passengers can wait. So everything is off. We can, I think we're just supposed to reduce the prop lever a little bit. Has that Cessna got a cloaking device? Because I can't see it anywhere. I suppose he is travelling at a really slow speed, probably 80 knots, so we might not even see him. Oh, that's a shame. But we're wasting fuel by sitting here looking out the window. So it's showing up on here though, so he's got to be close. So let's continue with our taxi, shall we? Of course, it would help if I take the brakes off. So we need to turn around here. I like the bumps on this airport, pretty cool. So let's turn this way. And what we'll do, we're going to park along here. Really nice airport. I like this airport. A bit of detail on those planes. One day maybe I'll be flying one of those, but that's a long way away, I think. There's Captain Barnacle in there, look. So what I'm going to do is park on the other side of these. They're being prepared for flight. Got a guys there. Is he giving it a clean? Come on, clean this plane afterwards if you like. Yeah, look at that. He's giving it a clean. This one's being refueled. That Cessna still hasn't landed yet. Right. What we'll do, we're going to park next to these Easterns. See, that's a little bit more like the plane that we're flying today. They're giving it fuel and everything. Oh look, I think there's that Cessna. Is it landing on a different runway? Oh no, I suppose we've gone all the way around, haven't we? So what we'll do, we'll turn. Well, we'll see if we can see him land. Well, there's a helicopter up here, a helicopter station. The big ball of light in the sky can only be a plane in FSX. So we had enough fuel in the end, by quite a bit. I think we've only used half of what we were allocated, which is nice. So I'll say we'll have the fuel for the next time. Their Cessna's coming down now. So nice little helicopters. See, I've made the passengers walk. They'll have to get the bus. But never mind. So we're going to park here. Technically, I think this is only, well, I don't know, it's got a circle on the ground. What does that mean? Some bright spark will tell me.
Contact ground on 118.25.
But that was a bit rubbish, but anyway, we've landed. So, parking brake on. Passengers we need to turn off the landing lights and passengers up the seatbelt. Start turning things off now. Right, taxi lights off, landing lights are off, nav off. I think these should be set to ground now, presume. Whoops. That's fine. And we can now cut the engines. 88 minutes, including me doing a little bit of sightseeing, waiting for the Cessna, and it's 2:15 UTC, 3:15. So we make good time today. So we now just need to turn everything off. So generators off, power's off, and now just to let the passengers off. So let's let them off. Welcome to Sumburgh. Thank you so much for joining me on this flight with the rowdy passengers who weren't that bad really, were they? I hope you enjoyed the flight, and if you do have any comments, then I would love to hear them. Hopefully, all being well, the next flight will be up within 7 days. I actually enjoyed the flight. It went pretty well. Don't think I made too many howlers, but there's no competition for spotting all of them. So thanks again for watching, and take care.